say, I want to live in that area, and I'll find you a house within inside that box, but I will not use that religious facility as a point of interest. Okay? Take it out of your search criteria and take it out very quickly. Even if somebody says, well, can you find me a neighborhood where there are a lot of families with children? No, absolutely not. Okay? You say, I will find you a house somewhere near an elementary school, but I cannot find you a house based on the amount of children in the neighborhood. That's steering. All of this is steering. This is what they're trying to get you to do. Steering is a violation of federal law. Steering can get you sent to jail. Okay, so you don't want to do it. We have right now some very unique communities being developed here in the Valley. There's an Asian community that is very distinct and separate all to itself. Seems like everybody that's of Asian descent that comes in is being steered straight to that one development, that's one area of town. You don't want to be a part of that. Don't steer. Just because somebody's Hispanic, that means they don't go to Maryville. Just because somebody's black doesn't mean they go to South Phoenix. Don't allow somebody to trap you in that. Okay? You don't find nothing near a religious facility. Okay? They ask, well, I want to live near this mosque, or I need to live near this temple because I don't want to travel too far to go and do my worship. Sorry, I can't help you. Okay? It has to come out. It has to come out up front. Don't allow anybody to stick you into that. Let me give you an example. This is a true story. Happened about 10, 11 years ago. A couple flew into Sky Harbor Airport. They were a black couple, husband and wife. They were staying at the Hyatt Regency downtown. And while they were checking in, they asked the desk clerk at bellhop or something. He says, you know what, we're kind of interested in buying a house here. Can you refer us to a good realtor? Well, this person said, oh, yeah, I can. I got a good friend. She's a great realtor. If you don't mind, I'll give her your name and phone number and I'll have her call you. They said, good, we'll be up in our room. We'll be expecting her call. So she calls up her friend and says, hey, I got a couple came in here. They're looking to buy a house and want to be referred to a realtor. And I told them you call them. So she said, thank you very much. So she gets the information. She calls the people up. The guy answers the phone. And she identifies herself. I'm so-and-so. I'm with such and such real estate company. I understand you're looking for property here. How can I be of assistance to you? And talking to the guy was really great. I mean, it was a wonderful conversation talking to this guy. I mean, he was just absolutely fantastic. He's very articulate, very educated. You can tell he knew exactly what he was looking for. And she was just enjoying this conversation with this guy. But halfway through the conversation talking to the guy, the wife jumped on the phone. And then everything changed. She said, I want you to find me a house in the black community. I want to live in the black community. And the realtor sat back and says, black community? She says, well, ma'am, you know what? Here in Phoenix, I've lived here for over 30 years. And as far as I know, we don't have a predominantly black community here. Everybody kind of scattered out and lives all over the place. Well, where's the other side of the tracks? I want you to find me a house on the other side of the railroad tracks. And now her wits started tuning up. Her antenna went up. She started whipping in the wind, started thinking, oh, something's wrong here. So she said the other side of the railroad tracks. She said, well, ma'am, look, you know, the railroad tracks run straight through the center of town. And we have exclusive communities on both sides. Now, I can show you properties in the North Valley, the West Valley, the South Valley, the East Valley, but we don't have what you might want to call the other side of the railroad tracks, and we don't have a predominantly black community. Well, the woman just kept on and kept on and kept on, and finally she said, all right, well, just let us see what you got. And the real estate agent says, well, okay, let me get you some information about what you're looking for. And they gave her price range, square footage, amount of bedrooms, and so on and so forth. She says, okay, I'll pull up properties this evening that match what you're looking for. And let's say I pick you up tomorrow morning and we go out and take a look at some of these properties. They said, okay, fine, we'll be waiting for you tomorrow morning. So that evening, this real estate agent pulled up properties from all four corners of the valley. Okay. The next morning she called to confirm and let the people know that she was on her way. They had checked out. Okay. Those were federal testers. Had that real estate agent said anything, oh yeah, I know a good black community, or the other side of the railroad tracks are down here and I can find you a nice house down off there. If she had said anything like that, those two people would have been standing on the curb waiting for her the next morning. Okay? Be very careful of the types of questions you're being asked. I got a call some years ago. I used to put a lot of ads in one of the local newspapers out here, and I got a guy called me up saying, hey, I saw your ad in the paper, and I was wondering if you could help me find some fix-up properties. I said, sure, no problem. And he says, what I like to do is I like to buy fix-up properties, and I like to convert them. I may rent some out, and I might sell them, then maybe you can sell them for me. I said, sure, that won't be a problem. And then he made this comment. He says, one of the criteria I got is I like to find these properties in places where there aren't any Mexicans. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I said, if you're going to do that, then you and I can't work together. And I hung up the phone on him. Broke off the conversation right there. Don't let yourself get caught in this. Keep your wits about you. Be careful of the type of things people may ask you. Because if you do, you may find yourself in a lot of trouble. Familiar status. That's discrimination against families with children under the age of 18. That is a big issue right now. Okay? About 7 years ago, the National Association of Realtors did a nationwide survey of real estate brokers to determine how much knowledge they have of the 7 protected classes. And the National Association of Realtors was shocked when they got the feedback back from all these brokers. 85% of all the real estate brokers in the country did not know there were 7 protected classes. They thought there was only 5. They did not know that there was a status called familiar status, nor the handicap. So since then, the National Association of Realtors has been on kind of a shebang here to try and make sure everybody knows there are 7 protected classes. And today, we still don't have, this 14% tells me we don't know. We don't have a really good idea of what discrimination against children is all about. So I'm going to spend just a few minutes talking about this, and I need to point some things out to you, because some of you are in the property, in rentals, and this is one of the things that's going to get you in a lot of trouble. And so let's get rid of what I consider to be the most dangerous myth, the most dangerous falsehood associated with fair housing. Let's say you're in property management or you're a regular agent. Somebody says they want you to rent a house out for them. Let's say Billy Joe Jim Bob comes up to you and says, hey, look, I got this house sitting out here on the corner, 900 square feet, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. Can you rent this house out for me? You say, sure. You put a sign in the front yard for rent for lease. Okay. A lady comes up and she knocks on the door. She has 1 in her arm and 8 in tow. And she says, I'd like to apply to rent this house. Don't you dare say no. Don't let something come out of your mouth like, oh no, this house is too small, there's way too many of you. Because if you do, you just committed an open act of discrimination against all 9 of those kids. And you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble. Here's the myth. Do not establish an occupancy standard in single-family residential housing. It is illegal. Okay? You cannot establish occupancy standards in single-family residential housing. It is illegal. Well, if you have a homeowner that's renting out their property and you're representing them and trying to get their house rented, you need to tell them they cannot establish an occupancy standard. They can't say, well, I'm only going to accept 3 kids. No, you're not. You're going to accept whatever comes in. Okay. Now, here's the point. Here's where everybody gets confused. We got this Section 8 stuff going through our mind, that says you can only have so many kids in the bedroom, certain age, certain sex, and kids of a certain age got to have their own bedroom. So do not ever comply with these guidelines. Okay? Do not ever comply with Section 8 guidelines. You're going to find yourself in trouble for discriminating against any child in that lease under the age of 18. Now, let me just go a little bit further with this. Section 8 is a federally subsidized rent program, which means you're accepting money from the government to offset a rent. Now, when the government gives you money, they don't give it to you free. They don't give it to you with no strings attached. Okay? The government's going to say, well, if you're going to take my money, then I have these requirements that I want you to meet. And my requirements are, you got to put a certain amount of kids in the bedroom, everybody's got to have a certain amount of square footage, kids of a certain age have to have their own bedroom, so forth. That's if you're taking their money. If you're not taking the government's money, you cannot establish